welcome to another episode of Calm the Conflict, The Art of Resolution. I'm David Goldberg, a partner at EMW Law and an accredited Legal 500 mediator, and I've done this podcast a couple of times with a colleague, Zakia. Today we're lucky enough to have a guest speaker. So we've got Sharon McDermott from Trenches Law, specialising in telecoms, and we're going to have a quick chat with Sharon and see how telecoms is going, the world of mediation, what you can do with it, and how we can help, basically.
Great,
So
yeah.
tell me a bit about what you do and how you do it and how we can help, how mediation helps.
Well, David and I go back a long time, don't we? David was my bulldog in Virgin Media when he did all of the litigation for us, and very good at it he was. And so I was 18 years at Virgin Media as head of legal, and I've now got my own law firm, and we specialise in telecoms. We do a lot of wayleaves for operators against landowners, and we do legal work, so we'll do terms and conditions, we'll negotiate sales contracts, procurement contracts, disputes. I've forwarded quite a number of disputes to you to deal with. And yeah, we're just very busy at the moment. The telecoms world is slowing down, I would say. The investment seems to have stopped or slowed down, and there's a lot of acquisitions going on at the moment. We're getting into EV charging because very similar to telecoms. But from a mediation perspective, I think mediation is a great thing. I think a lot of companies, suppliers, customers fall out with each other mainly over money.
Is it quite a small world, the telecoms world, or is there a small number of big players and a large number of small players, or is it they come and go? Or?
No, there's a small number of big players, as you say, and then a lot of smaller players, and even small players, smaller than the smaller, I'd call. So we have, I do wireless internet service providers, resellers, we do managed service providers, we do operators. It's a big world. It is a big world, but as you say, they're smaller operators. Yeah.
Okay, and by way of sort of disputes between these people, if you've got a small third party and a big number one, is there any scope to negotiate terms or do business, or is it take it or leave it?
Yeah, no, I think there is. On Friday, I'm working for a smaller operator, and my customer, my client, was, for whatever reason, was paying duplicate charges. And I think it's a matter of speaking to the other side and appealing to the lawyer. We did issue proceedings against them because there was no sort of response at all to any of the correspondence we sent. But when I got hold of the lawyer, he was actually really decent, and he's just said, give me a few days and I'll come back to you. I'm sure we can sort this out. So there are ways to resolve these disputes, but sometimes, unfortunately, there's not. And mediation is the way to go, I would say.
So the lawyer that you're dealing with, is that an in-house lawyer or?
He is in-house, yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions that Zakia and I have discussed before is that the sort of the role that people play in mediations and the role of in-house lawyers or solicitors, as opposed to externally instructed solicitors. So you tend to deal largely with in-house more in your field.
Yeah, I do, and I've always been an in-house lawyer myself, and I think that as an in-house lawyer, you really are making decisions as well. You're over the detail, you know the company, and you really are making those decisions. Obviously, in some circumstances, you'll need to get approval for things, but you're on it. You're on the detail, and
so effectively, you are the client.
Yeah.
If you're as in-house counsel, one of the roles we've discussed with Zakia in the past is who plays what roles in mediation.
Yeah.
But if you've got an in-house counsel as opposed to external counsel with a client, as an internal, that's your history.
Yeah.
You are effectively the client. There is no. You might have reporting lines, but
absolutely, and. On occasions I've had to instruct external counsel and on matters, disputes. And I see the difference between internal and external counsel.
Good or bad? Go on, spill the beans. No one's listening.
In a good way for internal lawyers, because they really are over the detail, and I think they're really more commercially minded than the external counsel. And I was frustrated at times when it really just became about the law. And I know that solicitors should be about the law, but you've got to have that commercial mind as well, because some things don't make commercial sense to follow through. It may be quicker to settle than to spend fortunes on external counsel.
Principles.
Yes, exactly. And as much as you want to win, it doesn't make commercial sense.
The whole concept of mediation, where it is not focusing on the detail, focusing on the bigger picture. That resonates with you
100%, and that's why I really do. I'm an advocate for it, because both parties want to feel like they've won, and shake hands and look each other in the eyes and not fall out. What's the point? Life's too short anyway.
So in your particular industry, is that possible? Because obviously I've discussed in the past, mediation, both sides bear the pain, move on, life's too short, kind of similar page but different. So is that in the industry that you're in? Is that the case? Because you don't upset people if you come together, find a resolution, move on. You can continue to work together, so it's a commercially viable to keep the businesses going rather than falling apart all the time.
It's a small world, and you don't want to be
biting the hand,
upsetting
or cutting
people.
the nose.
That's right. I was going to say something else then, but but you don't want to be upsetting people, because those people will come back. They'll be, they will come back in some shape or form in the same industry. And I've got clients now who I've worked against in the past, and they remember that it was a fair fight, and they come back after everything's settled, and they'll come back and ask me, would I work with them? And it happens. It's a very small world.
And just touching, you mentioned about moving into EV.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I mean, that's cutting new ground. That's exciting.
It is. Sorry. It is very exciting. And you'll see a lot of telecoms people moving into that world as well, because it's very similar. And obviously, the electric vehicles, we're all going to have electric vehicles soon. And there's not a lot of charge points at the moment. And there needs to be a lot more. So we get the way leaves or the leases for the charge points for the operators. Yeah, and it's great. I've got an electric car myself, and it's
Happy
horrendous. Well, when you can't find a charger, it's not. But it's they are good, I have to say.
Tell me about something that's gone wrong and how it's been resolved, mediation, resolution, otherwise, just so that we can sort of focus back in on the sort of the mediation side of things.
Yeah. Well, the example I think that I have, it really, if it had gone to mediation, it would have been a better outcome. What happened was a client of mine had an internal lawyer, and they owed a supplier of theirs. It was over 200. In fact, I think it was about £500,000. And the lawyer instructed not to pay the finance team, not to pay a penny. And this company, who I was aware of, this company was desperate for the revenue, cash flow, and the lawyer wouldn't pay a penny. And I was trying to get the lawyer to see sense, to go to mediation. Something could have been paid to this supplier. In the end, the supplier went bust overnight, effectively. It had about 600 employees, and it didn't get a penny. And the man had been running that business for over 10 years, and it really broke my heart. And the decision was the wrong one, not to pay something.
So everybody lost out?
Everyone lost out.
The third party lost the customers, the work stream and everything else?
Yeah, bad reputation, bad reputation.
So how big is reputation? We've discussed, it's a smallish world.
It is a small world. Reputation is really important. I come across some very aggressive lawyers. They don't need to be like that. I always think that you have to have a fair contract. Both people need to feel like they're in a good, stable relationship, business-wise, and the contract has to be fair. There's no point trying to get a great contract and put a supplier down and in the corner. And that's why mediation, I keep going back to it, mediation is so important because it's all about the relationship and you need to be able to walk away and shake hands and both parties feel like they've won. And I wondered actually, when you do your mediations, do they fall out? What happens at the end of them?
So a mixed bag. I've only rarely have a case where the parties have shaken hands and walked away.
Really? Yeah.
Because your take is everyone should walk away and be happy.
Yeah.
My experiences tends to be it's share the pain, move on. Life is too short.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there have been circumstances where we've had contractual issues.
Yes.
Where it's been a blip.
Yeah.
And actually they've realised that they've both been sensible at the mediation and they can shake hands and walk away.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant for me.
Yeah.
But I guess in your sector, it's what sort of disputes are you going to be having? Is it largely negotiation on terms, or is it payments, or the reputation stuff we can deal with at mediation because you can bury it.
Yes,
it's all off. It's all entirely confidential and without.
The contractual issues not so much because if the other party is not going to move, you can advise on the risk and how you can mitigate the risk. So I'm very comfortable with that. It is more about payment and
cash flow for smaller businesses being strangled.
And the process not being followed, and therefore the payer doesn't have to pay the payee. And I think that there's some middle ground there that can always work to at least pay something for the payee to move
Stump
on.
up some money. Okay, so look, you've got an opportunity. 25 seconds, whatever it is. Tell us about what you can do and how you can help people that might need your specific niche area of expertise.
Well, I'm offering a subscription service at the moment because I realise in this day and age, unfortunately, there's not a lot of cash flow.
What does a subscription mean? You pay a small amount of money?
Yeah, so we're offering a subscription service on a 12-month term, and there's various tiers at lower rates. Q&A, training, to the smaller operators, and to basically help them and to make sure that their terms and conditions protect them. If they've got disputes, we can try and get involved in those disputes and settle them, as I say, on a friendly basis.
If you can.
I'm a very friendly person. I just think it's there for the smaller businesses who just don't have the budgets that you would have needed in the past.
And if they need to find you, Trenches, you're active on.
Trenches
you're hugely active on.
.co.uk. I'm all over LinkedIn. Yes.
Thank you very much for taking time and telling us what you're up to.
Yeah.
Again, Sharon McDermott from Trenches. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, thank you for listening in to Calm the Conflict, The Art of Resolution. Feel free to listen to this and listen to this podcast and other podcasts, and obviously reach out to Sharon if you've got anything in her specific niche area.
Thank you. It's such a privilege.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Right Here Creative, a video creative agency based in Oxfordshire. Check them out at rightherecreative.co.uk.